Many have seen the rise of AI art as essentially the death of human art. And as an artist myself, as a digital artist, I've essentially gone through like the 7 stages of grief because of this. It is a lot to grasp. It's a lot to really let sink in and come to grips with. However, after hours of sleepless nights and overthinking and just overwhelming anxiety, quite honestly, pages of emotional writing, I'm done fearing AI. At least, I'm gonna make an effort to be done fearing AI.
And I think you should too. Sorry, I forgot that part.
Much like I don't consider Google Images and stock images a serious threat to digital artists, I'm not really gonna see AI that way either. And you may not have realized it, but I think a lot of the YouTube videos and media coverage surrounding this AI art has been intentionally targeting and just pinpointing your fear and invoking some sort of emotional responses from you. And that's of course how media works these days, and it always has, of course, but it's only fueling your fear of AI. You know, it's serving like almost no other purpose. Clickbait thumbnails like AI made this, and it makes you scared, like holy shit, like I can't even make that myself, and it did it in 60 seconds or whatever. I saw one the other day, the first AI photo that scared me, or can Dolly replace our graphic designer, and things like that, which really only target your emotions of anxiety, fear, anger, whatever emotional feelings you have in regards to this topic. And at this point, we've all heard how toxic social media can be. Of course, like that's been a very cliche sort of topic for the last like 5 years now, you know, like Facebook is destroying the youth or whatever, and then it went on to TikTok and Snapchat and all of this other shit, and how, you know, it's destroying us.
Yeah, okay, Grandma, go back to sleep.
But I think sometimes we overlook how these things are affecting us because we know that they can have a negative effect, like scrolling on YouTube for hours or TikTok obviously can be a bad thing, but we also get good things from social media. And as somebody who just uses tech all day,
Yes, seriously, it's a problem. I know it's not healthy, don't tell me.
it's like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not just gonna stop going on YouTube or stop using this amazing technology that's brought so much good into my life. So it's easy to just write off like how this may be negatively affecting us. So this is not to take a shot at the content creators or media outlets necessarily that have made fear-mongering coverage of AI art thus far. And even to some extent, I suppose I have done that in some way. However, I'm just highlighting this just in case you haven't noticed how this may be affecting your mental health. Personally, like I said, I've spent hours thinking and writing and trying to come to grips with how AI is going to impact the design industry. As somebody that's a 3D artist, a 3D designer, it's like I have to stay on my feet for my survival. I have to look out for it.
Let's build a shelter. Finn and I can sleep in here, no issues. That's it.
So that I can still make an income, right? But after all of those thoughts and all of those writings, I've actually came to several positive outcomes that we could achieve through AI art. Outcomes where it's not actually as grim as we're all scared it may be, or many of us are scared it will be. And of course, it's likely that AI art probably will cause some job loss and displacement, among other things. But at the end of the day, I don't really think it's gonna be as dystopian as a lot of people are making it out to be. Or should I say, it won't be as dystopian as people are scaring you into believing it will be. Because think of it this way, painters and 2D animators have been passed up by technology for decades now, yet society still finds a way to value and appreciate and admire their craft. I have many additional reasons to believe why digital artists will be supported for years and years to come, despite how advanced AI technology becomes. But I talk about that in some of my other writings and videos. But this video is more just to focus on getting digital artists to stop being so endlessly fearful of AI and just like kind of dial it back a bit on a panic.
Oh, we're all gonna die!
Barry, snap the fuck out of it and run!
Like I said, despite finding emotional content several times after just really thinking out the way that this future could turn out. and trying to predict it. I'm always tempted again to be scared as soon as I open YouTube again, because of course the way the algorithm works is I watched one Dolly video and now I get all of them all the time. So more fear-mongering titles come my way, which means I click on that fear-mongering title and then I watch the video, and it's a video of an artist or graphic designer who's kind of terrified himself about this art. And then there's endless comments about designers that are scared they're gonna lose their jobs and they're not gonna be valued anymore and they're gonna have to work terrible jobs. And I've been one of those commenters before, right? It doesn't help. It's like an endless cycle of just more and more and more fear of how this is gonna play out. And once you encounter this much of it, like in such high volumes, it's almost impossible to think any other way. You know, it's so convincing and it seems almost delusional to think that there's any positive outcomes if you've read like 100 comments of just straight negativity, you know? Thus, it's pretty much just an endless cycle of people convincing me or convincing you as a digital artist why you should be absolutely scared of this AI. But regardless of how great AI becomes, it really doesn't alter my passion for my craft of 3D art. And as long as I can be a 3D artist, I'll practice this art until I die. I'll practice this art until I die. I'll practice this art until I die.
Times are changing and getting cold. Are you gonna hold me accountable? My bed is empty and I'm getting cold.
Go fuck yourself, loser. Regardless of how many millions and millions of annoying or great or whatever AI artworks are generated and shared on social media by people who made them themselves, if you just make great work, people will support it. So the path to success may not be as easy as it once was, or the job market might be a little more unstable or unpredictable, but I highly, highly doubt that digital artists will be, you know, completely left behind and forgotten about. So the art form of digital art will never be gone entirely, and I totally believe that. Like, I really do. Delusional artists of all sorts have proven this to be true historically, like I said, with painting and drawing, 2D animation, claymation even, and so on. So of course finding jobs, like I said, could be more difficult, but social media, for example, has only grown humanity's appreciation for a lot of these crafts, and it doesn't matter how technically primitive they may really be. So with this knowledge, I encourage you to move forward with courage, confidence, discipline, and passion, a burning passion as a digital artist. No matter how good AI gets, keep doing what you do best. Keep doing what fuels your passion. Keep doing what, you know, makes you feel better about yourself or is therapeutical. Just chase that artist journey with your craft, no matter how good AI gets. I don't want you to be so scared of AI that it just derails your personal journey. It's ridiculous to do that, you know, but I understand the temptation. So express yourself through your craft, and please promise yourself that you'll always find a way to continue practicing it no matter what. The truth is, we can't predict the future with certainty. So no matter how many times you run the question, will AI replace me as a digital artist, through your head, you'll never really know for sure. So why dwell on it? If you continue to panic and lose passion for your craft because you're so scared you may be replaced one day by AI, you may ironically be making that future come true, for you at least. Instead, you should probably start dedicating your thinking to, how can I make my future immune to getting automated? Or how can I grow a supportive community of people that support my artwork and allow me to continue practicing my craft, regardless of how unstable the job market may be? Questions like these will get you thinking about real positive opportunities instead of getting you hung up on just depressing dystopian possibilities. Oh, and perhaps consider not clicking on all the fear-mongering clickbait, especially if you're already aware of the AI advances in technology and how it could impact the industry, and you've already kind of thought these things through. You already kind of know what you need to know. Consuming content built to scare you is only going to, for one, scare you, but also take time away from doing what you really want to do in the first place, which is practicing digital art. And finally, and perhaps the most outrageous point I'll make in this video, and the most overreaching one, I guess, how should I say this? Most ambitious message that I'm spreading through this video is that, for the love of humanity, can we just change the the way that we speak about this topic? Can we change the narrative around AI art? Can we please stop making this only about how scary AI art is and how thousands of artists are gonna lose their jobs and just, you know, live in a dystopian future as if it's inevitable and they'll have no purpose in our future society? May I add that artists are already infamously like struggling with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and we're prone to pessimistic thinking. So targeting the community with nothing but just negative messages and fear mongering, it's kind of unethical in my opinion. It's almost inhumane. It's like,
You know, looking back at that, maybe that's a stretch. Maybe calling it inhumane is a bit of a stretch, but it's kind of a dick move, you know? It's a little bit fucked up. Like, why do you gotta be like that? God, where's that SD card? Oh, it's in the camera. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, it's fucked up.
invoking all the negative thoughts in our heads, and I know that for a lot of artists in the community it has caused them to worry, and it's caused a lot of troubled thinking. So we should, in my opinion, instead be discussing how we're going to continue to support digital artists in the future and value them no matter what moving forward. We can't really predict the future, but we can affect it. If all we ever do is think about how bad it's going to be, perhaps we'll be missing out on amazing opportunities to find new ways to support digital artists, which could actually build a brighter future, a brighter reality than we currently live in. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you agree with me or disagree with me, I encourage a healthy discussion down in the comments below, and I am more than willing to engage with you in that. But as always, I try to stay away from anything too negative, and I shut that shit down pretty quickly because I just don't think it's healthy, especially after what we've talked about in this video. Shut it down! Please don't be that guy. Encourage healthy discussions, and I embrace this community with open arms, and I hope you can do the same. If you are a digital artist, please feel free to DM me on Instagram and maybe share your work with me. I always love when people reach out to me and share what they're working on with me. It just makes me like really feel the humanity behind all of our artworks, and that's the most important part in my opinion about art, and that's kind of why this AI art thing is just kind of meh to me personally. One last note, I know that this video does not cover everything. I mean, this is a highly like philosophical, futuristic, and just complex topic. There's so much to talk about. So if there's anything I missed and you'd like for me to touch on in a future video, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to make that happen. As always, I am Jordan Needham. This has been Jham 3D, and I will catch you next time. Peace.